Hey guys, welcome to Retro Media Talk. I'm Steve Montgomery. I'm here with Steve Lago.
Hi-ho.
And we are talking about one of our favorite subjects, old television shows. And we're going to start off with the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s of our most watched TV shows of those decades. And tonight we're going to do, of course, we're going to start off with the 70s. And we're going to do our top 20 most watched television shows. And it was really hard, wasn't it, Steve, to try and narrow this down?
It was harder than you think. 'Cause, I was pretty young. I was born in 71. So obviously I was watching TV, but I don't remember a whole lot beyond, before the age of 5, honestly. So
yeah,
I thought, there'll only be like a handful of shows. But there was actually quite a few shows that I didn't even realize were actually in the 70s.
I know. There's a lot of... See, there's certain times in your childhood you remember vividly, and you forget how young you really are. Like, I remember when I watched Star Wars in the movie theater. That would have been 77, but I remember it so vividly. And I was, I'm same age, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 years old.
Yeah.
But it's a memory that sticks with me. I remember seeing that in the theater.
Yeah.
And I did not think I was that young. It's weird when you go back to it. But I just remember there were so many, when you go back to these TV shows, you start remembering things. You start remembering, there's a lot of shows I watched when I was younger that I didn't realize how young I was. So yeah, you can really remember a lot from your childhood when you start, going back to these shows. And I remember where I was, like I used to spend the night at my grandma's on the weekends a lot of times, and I remember what they watched and what I was watching. I would watch it with them or whatnot, But yeah, it's fun, man. It brought back a lot of memories. So we're going to do our top 20 apiece. And of course, a lot of shows are going to overlap. We know that because we got similar tastes in a lot of TV shows and movies or whatever. But
right.
But yeah, so some on my list might not be on Steve's till the 80s. Vice versa, we don't know. We didn't compare lists ahead of time, so it's a mystery and surprise to both of us.
It's so exciting.
I love it. It's cool. But I'm gonna go ahead and let you start us off with 5.
All right,
like we did with the music ones.
All right, so as we got to say again, in no particular order. At the end, I will tell you which one is my favorite, but I won't go in the order.
I know which one that one. I think I know which one that is. So I'm not even covering that on my list. If that is it, I don't know.
You'll be surprised when I tell you which one it is.
Okay. Well, okay. Okay. Cool.
So the first one on my list is Kung Fu.
Oh, it's on mine too. I did not even think you'd pick that one for some reason.
I used to watch that every week.
Me too. That's hilarious.
I think by the time I watched it, though, it had already been put into syndication because it was on from 72 to 75.
Yeah.
So I think the local syndicated station would play it on, I think, Saturday nights or something, and I would watch it because, even at 75, I was 4 years old, and I don't think I would remember, but it was definitely in the 70s we'd watch it. Must have been in syndication, right after the series ended.
Because I think, didn't it, I don't know for sure, but didn't it air on, WGN or something? For some reason, I'm thinking WGN, but I don't
probably,
know for sure.
Yeah, probably it went into syndication. Probably on a WGN or WOR or one of those things. In Cleveland, it was on WUAB.
Okay.
43. But I think it was originally a CBS show. So
yeah, Yeah, that's funny you picked that one, man. I used to watch that all the time, man.
Yeah, and it's funny watching it now. I did start rewatching it probably like last year, and like all these kung fu sequences, they're like, I mean, literally, they're like super slow.
I know. That's the only thing that frustrated me about that show. It was like an hour long, and it was there was so many dry moments before they get to the fighting. That's what I remember. I haven't watched it in a long time though.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much the same, but like, yeah, it's usually like the story, and he's the Chinaman. They call him a Chinaman even though he's not even Chinese.
Yeah,
and you always have the flashbacks of him at the monastery and stuff like that. It's a cool show. It's a cool show. David Carradine, he ended up then being later on. I think wasn't it Kung Fu: The Legend Continues, or it was in the 90s. They rebooted it, and that was on like WGN, I believe, or UPN. Remember when UPN was out?
Yeah.
And he was also in the Kill Bill series, and then I think he died of. Didn't he die of auto asphyxiation, erotic asphyxiation?
Yeah, that's what's crazy about it. Yeah. So he was playing with himself and choking himself out in the closet or something. That's a crazy way to go. Crazy.
Yeah, but it certainly is. But yeah, it was a good show. Kwai Chang Caine, wandering the planet, doing good deeds, I guess. Was that really the plot? I mean, he left the monastery and then he was just like kind of like wandering.
I couldn't even tell you now.
Was there I can't remember if there was like a broader point to why he was wandering through all these western towns.
Yeah.
But it was a good show.
Yeah.
I mean, and my next show is Wonder Woman starring Linda Carter.
Yeah, that was on mine too.
What really irritated me about that show is that I liked it, of course, because Linda Carter.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody had a crush on
my dad watched it because he liked to see her boobs jiggle.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we would have been probably hitting that age where, kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. But what irritated me about that show was the first season, it took place during like the 40s, like World War II. Do you remember?
Well, that's kind of like the movie.
And then season 2, they pushed it all the way back up into the 70s. Like they pretended like the first season didn't even happen.
Yeah, that's what I don't remember. But
that's when it went to she had like, remember she had like that skin tight like suit that she would wear, like she would like go diving or flying her airplane. It was like a skin tight bodysuit would be like blue, and she'd have a helmet on or whatever. Yeah, so I mean, I watched it all the way through, but I think they should have stuck with the 40s, the World War II thing. I think it kind of got, I don't know, 70s TV shows like sometimes were just they were so 70s. You know what I mean?
Well,
it was just like these hairdos and these clothes and bad writing, bad story writing and stuff like that, but. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was good. It had that cool theme song, Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman.
I mean, it's a toss up on who produced my first chub, whether it was her, or Stephanie Powers in the Secret of Bigfoot episode from $6 Million Man.
Yeah.
Or, I used to get pretty riled up too over Aaron Gray from Buck Rogers.
Yeah.
In that bodysuit.
That's my other one.
Yeah. Definite chub material.
Well, we'll get to it, but yeah, I was thinking of another one too. All right.
So
good pick.
Yeah, and that was I think they won 3 seasons, 75 to 79.
Yeah.
The next one, kind of in the same vein. I hate to put all these heavy hitters on the top of the list, but that's just the way it happens.
That's all right.
The Incredible Hulk, Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno, 77 to 82. It was.
Was it 77 or 78?
I think it was 77 to 82.
I wrote down the wrong dates.
Might have been 78. It depends where you look.
Yeah, true.
But it was at that time. It was when I first watched it. I remember watching the pilot, which was like that 2-hour movie or something, and I didn't even know who the Hulk was.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like the movie. That first movie was kind of dark. It was kind of scary.
It is.
as a kid.
Right. With demon eyes,
Yeah, and that hairdo and everything, and the eyebrows that Ferrigno had. Yeah, he was creepy, dude.
I know.
He was creepy, but it didn't take long to really get into the show. And I always remember that one episode. Remember where he meets the old man Hulk? Remember that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and they fight and stuff like that. That was about the most. That was like probably the most like superhero action out of the whole series, because it was always him going and working, getting a job in the next town, like he's a dock worker, and then he was trying
a fight.
He'd get in a fight, and he would beat up some dock workers or some minor thugs.
Yeah.
There was never any really good what we think of today as Incredible Hulk action, like super crazy strength stuff, but it was a cool show back then.
Yeah, you just always like looked for that next revenge on that bully or whoever was picking on him, And David, Bill Bixby, who played David Banner. God, I mean, you just felt sorry for the guy. He just it really is a dark show.
It is, and and especially at at the very end of the episode, they show him walk down the road, dun, 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 with that piano.
yeah, exactly. He never could get with a woman or anything. He was just a loner, and of course Bill Bixby, he died November 21st night of 93 of prostate cancer at 59.
30 years ago. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I can't believe it, man. It's crazy. Crazy.
And Lou Ferrigno, I just saw him about 5 years ago at Comic-Con, and still a big dude. I mean, he's starting to show the signs of aging, but really nice guy. Still in pretty good shape. Way better shape than Arnold, I might say.
Yeah, definitely. I always thought Lou Ferrigno would have got not to sound dark, but I was like, man, the amount of green paint they put on Lou Ferrigno, I was like, he's probably going to get cancer later down the line or something. I don't know. You always think of some of those things they put on back in the 70s. They had so many chemicals and different things that weren't probably, had long-term testing on it. And
for sure.
And I'm thinking, man, the amount of stuff they had to slap on him, I'm surprised he didn't come down with something. Because, your skin's your biggest organ, and you're putting all that paint. And
well, for some of us it is, Steve.
Yeah, well, yeah. Good point.
I mean, the skin is my biggest organ. I'm just saying, just some of us may not be the case. But yeah, I remember reading somewhere that they constantly had to keep on touching him up. You know what I mean? Because it would just keep on coming off and stuff like that. But
yeah, because some of that stuff, like some of that makeup back then, it had some bad ingredients. Like I mean, there's still obviously a lot of makeup that has bad ingredients. But
yeah, I remember reading a story about the dude that played the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
The first guy that would play the Tin Man and was Buddy Ebsen, Jed Clampett. He was originally cast to be the Tin Man, and when they put that makeup on him, he got like deathly ill from it. He had like a major reaction. He got poisoned from it, so he had to step down, and that's when they got the other guy. So yeah. Definitely some toxic makeup shouldn't be putting on.
Yeah, and didn't they use like the snow they used in Wizard of Oz? Didn't they mix it with asbestos or something? I read.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I'm like,
they put asbestos in everything back then. I think it was in your cereal.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, I would not doubt it.
Wheat puffs with extra asbestos.
Yeah. Gosh. All right, that's a great pick there. All right.
Yeah. And of course, the next one of my favorite. I can't say it's my favorite, but it might be. Of all time, the $6 Million Man.
I wasn't even going to mention that one. I was going to wait till you did, so.
Starring Lee Majors. He went from 74 to 78. Everybody knows it because, of the Bigfoot episode where he fights a Bigfoot. That's what put it on the map. And it had a spin-off, with the Bionic Woman and what have you. But it was big. It was big. It was like, at that time, that show was so huge, it actually kicked off merchandising.
Yeah.
That we see today. Kenner did the merchandising, and the show became such a hit. So they put out the $6 Million Man action figure, and it just blew up. And so they had a whole toy line, and then of course naturally, after $6 Million Man ended its run, what did Kenner do? They got the rights to do all of the licensing for Star Wars, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
Kenner became the biggest toy manufacturer, most successful in the history of the world. And the $6 Million Man actually sparked that whole thing, which is pretty cool. And as a matter of fact, the mold for the Bigfoot action figure was later used for the Chewbacca action figure for Star
really?
Wars. They just changed the face.
No way. I did not know that.
But yeah, awesome show, $6 Million Man, Lee Majors, about a guy that gets seriously injured in a test pilot crash, and they give him cyborg replacement parts.
Steve Austin will be that man.
Yeah, awesome show. I mean, I used to make my mother buy me, leisure suits so I could wear to school, just so I could look like him.
Did you have the lunchbox? I did.
Yep.
Yeah.
I still have it. Have it.
What, your original, or did you buy it later? Find it.
Yeah, no, it's the original.
What?
It's missing the handle.
No.
And I no longer have the thermos, but I still have the lunchbox. I have some baseball cards in it that from my childhood.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Man, I don't even know what happened to mine, but I used to have a Jaws one and a $6 Million Man, and I don't remember what other one I had, but I know I remember those two.
Yeah, I had, because every year it was like all right, we're going to get you a new lunchbox. And, Aladdin, who made those, they had so many cool, lunchboxes every year, whether it be for like a new movie, a new hit movie that came out, or a TV show. So, I couldn't wait to go get a new lunchbox.
Well, I did have Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. I believe.
I had a Star Wars one. Now I want to say it was an Empire one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably what I had.
But
that's awesome. And well, you were on the big OSI podcast, you should say, as a guest, right?
Yeah,
So,
it was.
I don't know what episode, but if they want to check it out.
Final episode, yeah. The
The final. Yeah,
Yep.
that's right. Yeah, big $6 Million Man. Was that the biggest podcast out there that covered him?
For $6 Million Man?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And you. By the way, I hate to bring it up, but when you ever going to release your your podcast?
Actually, it's the first episode is recorded. It's just that I'll be honest with you, I was going to do the live review of every episode.
Yeah.
And so the 50-minute episode ended up turning into a 2.5-hour podcast. There's just no way. I don't think I can be able to do that every episode.
Oh yeah.
Just the editing, and stuff like that. So I might have to go to a different format.
Yeah.
Because I'd play it, I'd stop, I'd make some comments,
Right.
and then I'd restart it and make some more comments and stuff like that. And so I do have one episode recorded, but I may or may not keep it. I may just do a different method. So I don't know. There might be like a secret.
So you didn't
archive.
shelve it. You will have it out.
Oh, it's definitely going to happen.
Oh, okay.
For sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'll just have to pull some of my comic relief out of it and maybe shorten it up a little bit. But,
well.
yeah, $6 Million Man.
Hey guys, do you want the ultimate iodine supplement? How about liquid B12? How about liquid turmeric in a herbal cold pressed tincture, never heated? The ultimate in detoxification. Pure, powerful, and potent liquid formulas in a raw herbal extract. Totally organic. Use our special coupon code HEALTHYLIFE at checkout at globalhealingorganics.com. Use coupon code HEALTHYLIFE. All right. Awesome, man.
And my number 5, since we're on the $6 Million Man, they had a spin-off show, and it was The Bionic Woman, starring Lindsay Wagner.
Yes.
And that went for 3 seasons. One of the first shows, actually, it was the first show that they had actors playing the same roles on 2 different shows on the same network. And, because, they would have Steve Austin be on her episodes, and of course Oscar Goldman would be in both episodes, and Rudy Wells, and that was the first time that ever happened. Yeah. And ever in the history of TV. So that was like the first ever crossover episodes of TV was the $6 Million Man Bionic Woman. And to be honest with you, I mean, I like the Bionic Woman, not nearly as much as the $6 Million Man. But it kind of grew on me because, when you're a kid, you're like, yeah, girls can't do anything type of thing, and stuff like that. But,
I think a lot of people were watching it for Lee Majors. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, because he would always guest star in a lot of the, the movies, and then they guest star and.
Yeah, I think he ended up being 5 or 6 episodes. I can't remember now, but then they started moving it away because I think it was becoming difficult. Yeah, and then after the second season, The Bionic Woman was canceled on ABC. Yeah, and then it was picked up on NBC
for one more, right?
For one more season, and so then ABC and NBC were like, "Nah, we're not doing any sharing of this, Lee Majors stuff."
Crap.
But they did have, they did have a deal with Richard Anderson and Martin E. Brooks, Rudy Wells, and Oscar Goldman to still be on the show. So,
and surprisingly, then they did the 3 movies after that.
Yeah, which it was nice to see those movies, but they're not they're not very memorable.
All right, well, I'll just go down my list because. I think the first 5, I don't have any overlap right now. So, number 1, in no particular order, I've got Starsky and Hutch. Did you ever watch Starsky and Hutch?
Yeah, I've seen a few episodes. I think I was maybe... So what year did that debut?
Well, that's a good question. I wrote all of them down except the first 5.
Except that one.
or 3 of them on my 5 list.
See, that was about the same time, I want to say, probably 74, 75, and I remember my parents watched it, and I saw a few episodes, but it just wasn't exciting enough for me, so no, wasn't really into it,
I like David Soul, and I loved the show because I think it was I don't know if it was my aunt and uncles or something. Somebody was watching it, and that's what got me to watch it. But it looks like 77 to 79. It ran.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, I liked it. But I love those 70s cop shows. All those, different little action type shows that were on. I'll get to the next one later in a minute, but. Yeah, so I don't know. That was not my top pick, but that was just number 1 on my list as far as just writing them down, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
But this is above that, and this kind of this was hard, because it falls mainly in the 80s, I think, but I remember the debut, and I remember when it aired on TV, and I was in love with this show. And I would get my little racetrack out and play with it during the show every time it aired. You know, my little radio-controlled racetrack, and even had a car that was in the show, and that is the Dukes of Hazzard. I love the Dukes of Hazzard. Matter of fact, Cooch that's been on this podcast, he used to spend the night once in a while, and we used to play with the racetrack and watch Dukes of Hazzard. But yeah, Dukes of Hazzard, that was a great show, and that's another one that kind of shaped my
Catherine Bach.
My lust for women was the Daisy Dukes. Yeah, ran from 79 to 85. But even though it first aired January 79, I'm going to put it still in the 70s, even though I watched it through the 80s. But, you know, it's just, I remember when it aired, and I remember, you know, just loving that show right, you know, in the beginning of the 70s, or in the beginning of January of 79. So I went ahead and put it on there because I looked forward to that show every week. So that's it. Dukes of Hazzard.
I never watched it.
You never did? Oh, man.
My dad didn't like. He had this thing about hillbillies or something, I think, and he just refused to watch it. You know, I wanted to watch it because all the kids at school would talk about it.
Oh, shit.
You know, Dukes of Hazzard, Duke Boys, blah blah blah, and you know, but I never watched it. Yeah.
Yeah,
never.
Duke Boys.
If I happen to be over at my grandparents' house, because my one set of grandparents, they were hillbillies, so they would watch Dukes of Hazzard. So I saw a couple episodes, but I didn't really get into it because it wasn't something I could watch regularly. Yeah. So it just wasn't that big of a deal to me.
You should watch it sometime, wherever it's airing. I don't know, but it's just a funny show, man. Just a great show. A lot of action, a lot of comedy. But
John Schneider, Tom Wopat.
I love John Schneider, and talk about a guy that doesn't age. That guy he looks great for his age. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't look like he did when he was in the Dukes of Hazzard, but yeah, he still looks really good.
I mean, when he started on Smallville, oh god, he was like one of my favorites. He was just awesome. As you know,
he shaped your lust for men.
No, but I mean, I do love John Schneider.
Yeah, he mostly makes Christian stuff now.
Oh yeah, he's just awesome, man. He's just an awesome guy. I mean, I don't know if you're on his YouTube channel, but you should check it out, man.
Well, I follow him on Facebook, and he's always posting videos and stuff like that. Yeah,
he's just a great guy, man. Great American. That's all I gotta say. And then the next one, I guess, is Mork and Mindy.
Nanu.
That was another great show, great comedy. I don't know, I haven't watched it in a long time, but I remember I just loved Robin Williams' facial expressions and all that stuff, and he was just goofy, man, and it was just I don't know. It made me laugh as a kid. And,
I watched it. We watched it. When I was a kid, but I don't remember too much about it. I do remember that at the end of the episode, he'd always be there talking to what was his name, Orson or something.
Yeah.
And that would be the end of the show. He'd be in a dark room talking to him or something. But I don't really remember anything about the show.
Yeah.
Nanu.
I don't know, man. He just had those crazy voices and everything, and
yeah, it was a big hit.
It was.
I'm not quite sure, why it went off the air. It just got canceled. It was a hit. It was a big hit.
Yeah.
So I don't know what quite happened to it.
Yeah, but I don't know how it holds up today. I haven't watched it in so long, so that'd be one I'd like to revisit and see if it holds up. But
I think it's on Tubi.
Is it? Okay, I'll check that out then. Hey guys, this is Steve here, and I want you to try the best superfood on the market. Field of Greens, real organic superfood. Just use my special coupon code HEALTHYLIFE for ultimate savings. The benefits of Field of Greens contain antioxidants, boosts immunity, completely organic, supports healthy metabolism, and a natural source of vitamins and minerals. Try Field of Greens today with my special coupon code HEALTHYLIFE at checkout. Healthy Life. But this is one that holds up for me. And you probably have it on your list, but Battlestar Galactica.
It is on my list, yeah. And the only thing that stinks about it is that it was a very short-lived show.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was popular among kids, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, for how short-lived the show was, I mean, they had toys, lunchbox, T-shirt. I mean, it was all over the place, the merchandise.
Yeah. And what a lot of people probably don't realize, it was a 2-hour movie in the theater.
Yeah.
And I remember in the theater watching it. I think it was at my uncle's theater downtown or something. Might have been the Madison or Palace or something, but oh my gosh, man, I loved it. I mean, I love Star Wars, and this was kind of like the
generic version.
Yeah, generic version, I guess. But I really loved it. It was just a great show. And what's funny is, well, not funny, I guess, but Richard Hatch that died in 2017, who played Apollo in the show. I was what channel was I on? I think I was on that one I was telling you about, Hoopla, with the library. If you got a library card, you can check out all these things digitally. And his last movie was on there, and I didn't even know he put out a movie lately, or back in, I don't know when it came out.
Well, he was in the remake of Battlestar Galactica.
Oh yeah, he was.
Yeah.
But this movie that he put on, or that he starred in, it was a very strange movie, but I think he directed it too.
Uh-huh.
But it was called oh gosh, I can't even, the name's so weird. Diminuendo and it came out in 2018. He died in 2017, but that was his final film. And it's a dark film. It's kind of a dark film. Really dark. And but it's about okay, I'll give you a synopsis. His girlfriend commits suicide, and this company builds a clone of his girlfriend. He doesn't know about it, and they want him to film his life story, because she was this big actress, and she won a big award, and she wanted to join the 33 Club, and he didn't think she was serious, and basically killed herself. And then he's got all this pain and all this stuff, and then he's just pissed. They built this clone of her, and they want him to, he's a big director, and they want him to direct the film of this clone with a guy that stars him. It's pretty interesting. And I don't know, some stuff happened, but the ending is kind of haunting. I'll put it, I'll let you know that.
Well, what's the name of the movie?
It's Diminuendo. So it's spelled DIMINUENDO.
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, and you could probably just type in Richard Hatch's last film or something.
So what's the 33 Club? I don't know. What is that?
Oh, you know how a lot of those actors died at like 33.
Oh, I got you.
So yeah, it's kind of like it's interesting, man. It's a good one to watch though.
It's got to be pretty low budget, I would assume.
You know, it ain't bad, dude. Really. I mean, it's I don't think it was low budget, really. I mean, it's a. I'm not gonna say it's a high, but no, it was
small studio type film.
Yeah. But it's good. It's believable. I mean, he acts real. I mean, he's a really good actor in it. That is another lunchbox I believe I had.
Yeah,
I think I had that.
I remember that lunchbox because one of my good friends had it, and that was a nice lunchbox.
Yes.
It was a very popular one the year that it came out. Lots of kids had that one.
Yeah, I definitely had that. Now I remember. Okay, number 5, Chips. You had to watch
list.
Chips.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't. You know, I loved it back then.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really know why, because I don't really know what the fascination was now as an adult. But
It's cops.
I enjoyed it back then.
It's Frank Poncherello. Come on, man.
Yeah, he was and he was a heartthrob, right? And
he
it
had
was
that
kinda,
smile.
It was kind of something new because at the time, I mean, there wasn't that many Latino, big stars / heartthrobs. I mean, he was really the first, really.
He had the perfect tan.
Yeah,
permanent. Yeah, he was awesome, man. I mean, perfect tan, perfect white teeth. John Baker, who played Larry Wilcox, who played John, his partner. Yeah, it was just a great show. Good action, highway patrol on bikes.
They didn't like each other, by the way.
I heard they had some beefs.
That's why he left. Larry Wilcox left.
Oh, really?
Remember and then he was replaced by the other guy, the other blonde-haired. You can let him a younger guy.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, they couldn't get along because I guess Eric Estrada was kind of a big head. He was a star and all this kind of stuff. And
he was on the cover of what, Teen Beat and everything.
Tiger
else,
Beat,
Tiger Beat all the time.
I remember my sister had the poster in her bedroom.
Oh man,
kind of like an open shirt pose, type of thing. Another interesting thing about Chips is that Robert Pine, the guy that played Sarge, that is Chris Pine's father.
Oh, no way, dude.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
So that's pretty cool.
It's funny how you find out how many actors, that are out there. They're all spawned by somebody that was been in the business. There's hardly any outsiders, that get into it. Very few, I think. The only one I can really think of is Kevin Costner. He actually came from nobody. I think he got in there and he didn't know anybody and made it happen or something. That's what I read. He didn't have any.
That's the same thing with Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt, yeah. So there's a few that make it through, but most of them all, in the family business. Yeah,
like I said, it's all who you know.
It's all who you know for sure. And
what was the guy's name on Chips? The little garage guy. He had this little scrawny guy with the brown curly hair.
Yeah.
He was the comedy of the show.
Yeah.
I can't remember what his name was. He was always fixing their bikes or something. I don't know what he was doing.
Yeah, so so now you got the next 5. Yeah.
All right.
So that's my 5. Yeah.
Okay. So the next one on my list is Happy Days.
Oh, I love Happy Days.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days.
I mean, what can you say other than, that was one of the biggest shows in the 70s on ABC was Happy Days. Fonzie was like, he was it, man. He was he was the shit back in the 70s, man. Everybody was like, I'm cool like the Fonz, Hey! Looking back as an adult, though, Fonzie really wasn't that cool.
Yeah, but back then,
Yeah.
I wanted the leather jacket, and I wore a Fonz pin. One of those big buttons.
Yeah.
And I also had a Steve Martin one. I'm a wild and crazy guy on one of my jackets, but
I didn't really realize it, but I mean that was on for 10 years. Went from 74 to 84.
I know.
And I mean it started off in the 50s, but it seems like at the end, like it wasn't in the it was like it seemed almost like it was in modern times, didn't it? When they like went to college, the timeline kind of got like a little distorted for me. But I loved the early episodes when it was truly like the 50s, when they're always hanging out at Arnold's. Mm-hmm. With Pat Morita. I liked it when Pat Morita was in the show.
Oh, yeah.
Versus Al. I liked Pat Morita better. And I always remember that one episode, where Fonzie's going to jump. He's going to jump the garbage cans in Arnold's parking lot. Remember?
Yes.
Because you asked for it. Remember that?
Yep.
And it's a big two-parter. Remember he took off, hits the ramp, and there's like, to be continued, And
yeah.
Yeah, it was a big cliff.
That was a big event, yeah.
It was. And I was,
It was.
as a kid, I was worried. I was like, oh my God, what's going to happen to Fonzie?
Yeah, and what a lot of people don't remember about Pat Morita is he was Mr. Miyagi in Karate Kid.
Well, I think people probably think of Pat Morita as Mr. Miyagi and don't remember that he was in Happy Days.
I guess that's what I meant. That's what I meant. Yeah.
I think more people remember Al. Once when it changed over and it was the guy that went yep.
The what?
That's what his thing was when they would always talk
yeah.
and then he'd be go yep.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean everybody thinks of Pat Morita, yeah, you're right, as Mr. Miyagi, and they forget about him in Happy Days. But that was probably his first. I don't know if he's been in other stuff before that, but that was, probably.
I think he was only on maybe like the first season or two.
Was that it?
Yeah, I don't think it was that many seasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool. It was a cool show. I liked the nostalgia part of it, being in the 50s and.
Mm-hmm. And there's another heartthrob on that show.
There was? Mm-hmm. Well, later on, right? You talking about Ted McGinley?
No, that's another one, though, I guess.
Oh, you talking about Chachi?
Yeah, Chachi. Scott Baio.
Yeah.
He was a big heartthrob on all the Tiger Beats and everything else. Big breakout star from that show.
Yeah, it was Tom Bosley was on there, and he was pretty famous guy. Of course, Ron Howard. He became like one of the biggest directors in Hollywood for a while.
Oh yeah. What was his first movie that he directed? I can't remember. He did Cocoon too, didn't he? He did a bunch of.
Yeah, I think so.
But he did a lot of big hits.
Oh, he did. I got off the top of my head, I can't think of him, but yeah, he became a pretty big director, and because if you remember, at one point he left Happy Days because he was tired of acting and he wanted to go to directing, so that's why he wasn't on the show. And remember also one time at the very beginning of Happy Days, he had a brother, Chuck. Remember, he was in the first season, and then they never talked about him again.
Well, he has that one brother.
Chuck. His name was Chuck. He was a basketball player, remember, in the first season, and then he just disappears.
No. I don't remember. Are you talking about his fake brother? Or real brother?
No, his brother in Happy Days.
Oh, so he had a brother in Happy Days?
Yeah. He was in the first season. Then he went to college, right, to play basketball, and then they never talked about him ever again.
Oh, I wonder what happened there.
I don't know.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, he was a famous. If you go back and watch the first few episodes and you see him, you'd be like, "Oh, dude, that dude's been in a ton of stuff." But they just guess they probably didn't have too many characters. You know what I mean?
But you know Ron Howard's real brother?
Yeah, it looks just like him.
No, I don't think so. He's that goofy.
Yeah, I know who the hell you're talking about.
He's always playing some goofy, like he's been in horror movies. He's been in all.
He looks like he's
Clint Howard. Clint.
He looks like he's inbred.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a crazy dude.
Yeah, it looks just like him.
Yeah. He's
I
like,
mean, you can see the quality of it. Is what I'm saying.
yeah, but he got the bad end of the stick.
Well, yeah,
But yeah, he's a funny guy though.
yeah, for
He's
sure.
a funny guy. I forget what horror movie he played in. I don't know. He played in a lot of movies, but you wouldn't think that was Ron Howard's brother if you weren't. You know, you didn't pay attention. He just looked like some goofy.
Inbred.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, there's some people that have that. They have that look of just like they're weird. I mean, think about how many like actors that are famous because they had a very strange look.
Yeah.
Like the guy that was in The Hills Have Eyes.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
I mean,
That guy
he's been in a ton of stuff because
Yeah.
he looks weird.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
There's so many actors that they're just weird looking, but that's why they get. I mean, they're never going to be big stars, but
Right.
they get plenty of work because we're shooting this new movie. We need a weird looking guy. Like, oh yeah, get him. You know, I mean, they know all the weird looking people's names and use them all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean, I probably should have been in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So,
Oh man.
you know, since we're talking about Happy Days, well, the next show on my list is a spinoff from Happy Days, and of course, that's Laverne and Shirley. Right?
Yep. I was gonna put that one. Or that was on my list. Sorry. But
That
yeah.
went from 1976 to 1983. And of course, Laverne and Shirley, they were in Happy Days, and they were like two chicks that were hanging around Fonzie, I think, one or two episodes. And, of course, you know, Penny Marshall, you know, Frank Marshall was like huge in television back then, like producing and directing and stuff. So
Gary
I'm
Marshall
sure-
or oh wait.
Yeah, Gary and Frank.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, Gary and Frank, because Gary, didn't he create Happy Days?
Probably.
Something. Yeah.
Probably. One of them did.
Yeah.
But you know, he had some big time pull back then. So obviously,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, Laverne, you know, Penny Marshall was way more humorous, I think, than Cindy Williams. Cindy Williams kind of got on my nerves a little bit. She was kind of whiny,
Yeah.
but it was a good show. Lenny and Squiggy, and
Oh yeah, I love Lenny and Squiggy. That's
first-
why I watched that show. I love them guys.
hello, and then you had Carmine Ragusa, the big ragu.
Yeah.
You know, that's another show that, like, the first two seasons, it was kind of like nostalgic, kind of 50s Milwaukee. They're working at the bottling
Factory.
and then it kind of like the show kind of like changed a little bit as it went on, and it wasn't like that anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's another thing too, is that Penny Marshall and Cindy Williams, they didn't get along so well.
Yeah, I heard they had some beefs too.
Yeah.
Beefs. That must be my word of the day.
And speaking of which, Cindy Williams just died in this past week.
I know. I'm glad you brought this up because, you know, it's she died January 31st at 75. So that's crazy. So they're both dead now. Penny Marshall died in 2018 at 75.
Was it that long ago? Yeah.
So they both died at 75. Isn't that weird? Man, it's really weird.
Laverne DeFazio and Shirley Feeney. Yeah.
And Penny
It's funny.
Marshall, she directed League of Their Own and Big. I don't know if I think those are two of her big movies that she did, but
Yeah, I mean,
something like that. But
she was funny. She was a funny lady. Yeah, she was pretty talented, I would say. And
she got a little rambunctious later in life, got a little sour, I think, but yeah, she was funny back then.
I always remember about Laverne and Shirley. It'd always be she'd mix herself up a Pepsi and Coke.
Oh, yeah.
You ever try that? I tried it because I had to try it.
No, I never tried it.
It's disgusting. Or a
Best of
Pepsi,
both worlds, huh?
Pepsi and a milk. I mean,
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Pepsi and I was gonna say
and
what
Coke.
a Pepsi and Coke. I don't know.
yeah, she'd always mix the Pepsi with the milk. I tried it. It's not good.
It's not good. Carbonated milk.
And it's not a show on my list because I don't remember what year it was. But of course, we're talking about Happy Days, and of course, Laverne and Shirley was a spinoff, and of course, the next spinoff was Joni Loves Chachi. You remember that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And then there was another spinoff. Remember where Fonzie and
What
had a
was
girlfriend and a little girl, and they lived together. Do you remember that?
I kind of do. What was the name though?
I don't remember. It didn't even last the whole season.
Oh my gosh.
So there was like 3 spinoffs of from Happy Days.
They're trying to capitalize on that. That's for sure. Hey guys, what's up? This is Steve Montgomery from Retro Media Talk. Hey, I just want to let you know I got a new album out called Night Sky. If you like ambient, cinematic type music, a little synth wave mixed in with some of the tracks, hey, check it out. It's available on Bandcamp, Amazon, Spotify, and some other outlets. I also have a physical CD that you can order through the link in the podcast description wherever you're listening to. Thank you so much for your support. Steve Montgomery, Night Sky, out now. All right, guys, so we went a little over on time, so I had to split this up in 2 parts. So this concludes part 1 of our top 20 70s TV shows. Please subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts or go over to retromediatalk.com. You can find all the links there.
Steve Austin will be that man.
All right, we'll catch you on the flip side.